A few days after arriving back from offshore racing, it was time for some local passage racing around the Island of Sark. Despite an unfortunate start, we managed to claw our way back to finish second place, and this is how we did it. The wind was coming from the north, so after crossing the start line, we'd be using the kite, then the zero, then the jib, then back to the zero, and then ultimately the jib once again.
Okay, that's 4 minutes, Ali.
Usually it would be our bowman, Ben, who'd call the start line, but he couldn't make this race. So this time around it would be LV who would be letting us know whether we were approaching the start line too early or too late, and also keeping us off any boats which had right of way over us. So there are a couple of rules in racing about who has the right of way. One of them is when two boats are on opposite tacks, the boat on the port tack has to keep clear of the boat on the starboard tack. But when both boats are on the same tack, and if there's an overlap, then the windward boat needs to keep clear of the leeward boat. And obviously which boat that is will depend on the direction of the wind.
3 minutes.
Can you ease, Alex?
Yep.
Hang on. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Two minutes 30.
We were early on the start line, so we luffed up to buy a bit more time, and then went downwind of everyone to ensure that we had the right of way. In theory, it should have been a great start.
Okay, it's 1:30. "45 seconds. "30 seconds. "20 seconds.
You can calm down if you want.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But our start didn't go as well as we had hoped. Even though we had the right of way, because we were both the downwind boat and we were on starboard tack, we still had to change our course to avoid a collision, and so had to protest our friends on Fandangle. In Guernsey, protests like this tend to be sorted out at the bar afterwards rather than carried through, but it's still important for us to get into the habit of identifying and calling protests for when we go further afield. But back to the race. Just as we were about to start hoisting the kite, we realised the tack wasn't made. So Ali handed over the helm to Ron and headed forwards to go sort the kite out.
In! Is that made? Go. Wait, this one port, isn't it? Oh, no, it's starboard, sorry. Oh, God, it was on.
Don't worry.
Caught. Okay, that's on.
Me not putting the jib halyard around a winch when dropping the jib, that's not good practice.
Take this, you have to release it.
Release it, yeah?
Okay, release.
Release.
After we had jibed, we realised the tack still wasn't completely made, so I had to grind it on. The reason that you want the tack to be made is because if it's not, it makes the sail a lot less stable.
Okay, grind it. Get the lever.
But I didn't have enough turns on the winch, so that tack was not going anywhere.
Can someone call when it's made? I know it's still going, but... Okay, is the halyard made?
Look up. Probably 2 inches.
Okay.
I felt resistance when I put it up.
Do we want weights? Yeah.
After rounding entree, we changed our angle to head for Sark, and also changed our sails from the kite to the code 0. I changed the mast instruments to reaching mode because we were now sailing across the wind. And we noticed that the luff, the code 0, didn't quite look like it was set right. So Ali sent me up to the foredeck to investigate what was going wrong.
That is...
I spent what felt like forever on the foredeck trying to work out if I was missing anything.
It doesn't look like the halyard is made. I'm pretty sure the tack is made, but do double check.
The tack is made.
Yeah, okay. Halyard.
Halyard about 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. Amusingly, I tried to pull the halyard in, not understanding that it had about 1.5 tons of pressure on it. So instead, I needed to put it around the winch and grind it. After ensuring the halyard was actually made, we checked the tack again to see whether it had slipped.
Okay.
Usually the 0 tack shouldn't go around the turning block because it's not made for those sort of tensions. So at least on killing time, the best practice would be to put the 0 tack around the port winch instead. It's not so much of a problem for lighter airs, but it makes a big difference when it's heavier. So it's better to get into these good habits earlier on.
Okay, Phil, you'll call it.
Not moving. It's good.
Thanks.
Here we are trying to get the boat at the right sort of angle to go faster. When going upwind or reaching, killing time needs about 30 or 40 degrees of heel to reach our optimum speeds. And at times like this, when the boat doesn't have much heel, we need to move people to the leeward side to tilt that angle back up again.
There's so much drama at the start. Protest. Usually someone would have called about the tack and no one did. And like, I was, as soon as I was like, the thing is though, like everyone makes mistakes and you learn from mistakes. And like,
I mean, now we have to go around, so I can't get off the plane.
the thing is you don't realise until you like put like in a different almost role, do you? Because like Ben usually shouts stuff like that.
I don't know.
And like, to be fair though, we've made up.
I mean, look at me around.
I know. Well,
Oh, you got a little nice spot of sunshine.
yeah, you've got
Hey, I'm all right. Yeah.
a bit warmer than a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
God, that was cold.
Oh, the night wasn't it just it? Wasn't it just? Oh,
freezing.
poor. I'd forgotten how cold it gets
Yeah.
at night. But all you know is that in 2 hours' time the sun's going to come up and you hope you're going to get warm. We've got Bevis behind us trying to get above us, you see. We're taking him up,
Yeah.
30 car, and it's what they call a luffing match. When each are trying to luff up the other one. Bevis realised now he's not going to do it, he's going to gain no advantage, so he's bearing away, and we can now bear away.
Oh, look at that sunshine. Is the bungee off and everything's ready though, Albie?
Yeah, I can do.
You can see the obstruction on the corner, Ali.
Here we're getting ready on the jib and preparing to drop the zero.
Let's go. Yeah, go.
Oh, quick! Oh!
Okay, right, so we're doing halyard first.
But of course, we had to furl it first.
Which one is it? That's...
Before we dropped the zero, we needed to have a bit more of the jib halyard. And then Ali went forward and we took the zero halyard down.
Okay,
All right.
out.
Yeah.
Alex, can you put a more kicker on?
Bit more kicker. Okay, ready, Ali? It's off. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you're nice to me, I'll share some of my sponge with you.
Oh, your what? Oh, some of your sponge. Is that not what you heard? I'm sharing, he's sharing. I literally went to go on the rail and then immediately just went boom. So that hurt a little bit.
Okay, got it.
Got it. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're making that clear, are they? Got it. Okay, son of a gun of tacks.
At this point in the race, we were chasing down Son of a Gun. Despite the kerfuffle at the start with Fandangle and them being ahead of us at l'attack, we'd managed to extend a lead over them. But tide was now against us, so we needed to tuck in and do some proper rock hopping. And soon enough, it was time to go back to the zero. It needed to be ground on a little, but there was absolutely no way I was going to be able to do it like that. If you ever need proof of me really not understanding the physics of sailing 6 months in, this is it. It just goes to show that you can do however many miles offshore and still really know next to nothing. But it's all part of the learning process. Time to unfurl the zero and drop the jib.
Okay, LV, are you ready? Now?
When dropping the jib, really you should have your little fingers towards the clutches as you're easing. And here in this footage I had my thumbs, which would mean I'd be more likely to lose my thumb than my little finger, which is don't you want to think about. Yes, in future, best practice, keep your little finger closer, your thumb away, and hopefully that should keep your thumbs. After a fairly dramatic start that saw most of the fleet fly off in front of us, through good tactics and clean manoeuvres, we managed to claw our way back towards the front of the fleet and finished second in the race. And I think we were pretty happy with this result. Next episode, Killing Time is coming out the water, and for the first time, at least since I joined the crew, we're going to be giving her a touch of anti-foul. So if you're interested to see how messy that is, check it out next time. Have a great week.